If we know anything about anime YouTube, it's that everyone is calm, happy, gets along, there's never any fights, and everyone's just generally a very pleasant person to be around. So when I saw a tweet from a friend of mine called Karthu, who said that he removed his collaboration video with an individual called Seth after finding out everything he's done, I was a little bit shocked. I was like, okay, you have to do quite a lot to just straight up remove a channel video. That feels like it's a pretty big thing. The Seth that he's referring to is Seth the Programmer, who is a individual who makes power scaling videos about anime, like, oh, could Naruto break a rock if he tried really hard? And could Goku annihilate the universe if he blinked? Which, of course, we all know the answer is yes to that. But a few videos were dropped by an individual called Clyde and another individual called Noodles, basically saying my experience with Seth Programmer. Now, these videos are huge. They are an hour long, and the other one is almost 3 hours long. This is a feature-length expose. This is the spirit bomb of all exposés here. And then there was another individual called Swag Kage, who also dropped a video who's 46 minutes long. So there's a lot going on here. Thankfully, though, we have a 43-page document telling us all about what's going on. So, you know, it's just not too much. But looking into this further, it really is needed. This person has been doing insane things for years, getting away with it, and people have just had enough. They've had enough with them now. So I'm going to go through this document and basically give you the TLDR of what's been happening. First off, they have the document structured pretty well. It's like reading like a legal document, like a lawyer wrote this. We've got primary and subsidy evidence. There's 2 sports at the end addressing counter arguments. And it was started in 2022. This was started over a year ago. They start by describing who he is and then immediately jumping into sexually engaging with minors. Wow, I wasn't warmed up for that. That just hit you in the head. It starts with Seth, who is about 20 at the time, engaging in a sexual conversation with someone who is 16 at the time. And that Seth was aware of their age prior to making the advances. That was in 2016. And then in 2017, he was like, ooh, I need to do more now, actually. Oh, no, that was in 2018. Sorry. So before that, in 2016, while he was still an adult at age 19, he messages a 16-year-old girl called Satire, asks the 16-year-old girl for nudes, which is just completely gross and disgusting. If you're 19 at the time, what's wrong with you? Saying it would just be between us. You wouldn't think any less of her if she did. Heart emoji. He said that he would fly her out to where he was, and the screenshots to corroborate this. And then, like every 19-year-old man with the mental age of a 4-year-old goes onto Discord for the first time and sees a boob does, he just goes into the group chat and starts bragging about it. Posting your crimes, because that's the smart thing to do. Oh, are you doing crimes? Make sure you tell your friends about it and make sure it's on the internet so that everybody can find it and see in the future. He brags about it in group chats. Someone says that is CP, and then he responds by saying more like it's low-key illegal. Because remember, when you do crimes, tell everyone that you know it's illegal. That's very helpful. And he was also friends with someone called Nathan, who is a sexual harasser of the original girl, Satire. This person, Nathan, would harass the person. Also, the guy's called Fura Nate, which is just like, listen, I know it's 2017 and edgy humor is all a little bit more accepted back then, but come on, man, really? It says the original person, Seth, was complicit in the behavior. He was an adult and he did nothing to stop the harassment, essentially. Apparently, Seth also bribes people for silence. By another individual that knew him said, if you wanted money, you could have just said that to Seth instead of doing all this. Jade said, bro, what? They then followed up with saying, he said last night, why doesn't Jade just be my friend if he wanted money? When you have a 1 out of 10 personality and have to bribe people to be your friend? I mean, it's not really a surprise after everything we've seen so far. But if you're gonna be that pathetic, at least try and have the decency to hide it a little bit more and not be as upfront. And it was essentially in exchange for the silence, denial, and undermining of his victims, which this is his account. Are you able to make a statement that you don't think I'm a P-word? Or it's not as concrete as people thought. He said these people are trying to justify it to swat me and get my address, which, to be honest, swatting, terrible. Never do to anyone. Absolutely not. It's disgusting, should not be done to anyone. But trying to bribe someone to say that you're not a P-word while you have literally went around the internet posting about how you are and you're bragging about it? Did we not see this coming? He also attempted to pay off a Discord user Ace in exchange for deletion of his server where he'd been hosting the document and also providing arguments against Seth, hosting the document that was essentially accumulating evidence against him and all that. And then they make the point that he clearly doesn't believe in his own innocence if he has to resort to bribing others to get his way. Then there's essentially a ton of information about how old he is because he's been purposefully vague on the internet about how old he is, so no one really knows. But there's a lot of research that went into this, like looking at the YouTube monetization policy from 2016 that requires you to be 18 years old to sign up to monetization, and that he had a monetized video in 2016, showing that he had to at least be 18 years old in 2016, meaning in 2019 or 2017, when he started messaging minors, he would have been at least 19 years old. And then there's the counter-argument section where people say, oh, it's just a joke, where you jokingly try to get CP from a 16-year-old as a joke. Haha, what a funny joke. Yeah, I'm into dark humor. Racism. Like, if it's really a joke, then you don't cultivate a relationship with someone over a period of weeks or months while also having conversations with them very regularly and then trying to get them to send you things like that. That doesn't sound like a joke. That doesn't sound like you didn't actually want them to send you it. It sounds like maybe you did actually want them to send you it. And does this conversation look like it's jokes? I don't want to be rude and send nudes. I wouldn't think less of you if you did. It's probably not going to happen. And then they say, that's all right, haha. I don't know. Doesn't really sound like a joke to me. Sounds like you actually kind of wanted it and they said no, and you're like, oh, well, darn, no nudes for me today. Which, thank God that they didn't actually send anything. Who knows what you would have done with it? And then the other argument is 16 is the legal age in Australia and some US states. If you're 19 years old and you're trying to hook up with a 16-year-old, you're at different points in your life. At that point in your life, you mature so much faster. A person that is 14 is entirely different to someone who is 18. A person who is 16 is entirely different to a person that is 19, both with maturity and the way that their body has developed. A person that is 16 years old is so much more susceptible to coercion by someone that is older, especially someone that is close to their age range, but still seen as an adult. Also, being the legal age of consent doesn't mean that you can send CP or own it or coerce someone to send you it. But regardless, that's not the only thing that this person has done. Like going back to Carthu's tweet at the start, he said that he was talking about him behind his back for years. This entire 2.5 hour long expose isn't related to the original document here based on the minors. From what I can tell, there is a ton of stuff about how he just abused his friends, talked about them behind his back, was just generally a horrible person, and even went as far to ask someone who wanted to be a mod for his, I think it was stream or his Discord server, to literally eat shit on camera and send them a video so they can laugh about him behind his back. And when we're talking about people behind their back, he's saying some kind of stuff like this.
The only thing Six is good at in life is literally eating and talking about Naruto, bruh. I don't even know why y'all try to interact with him in his server. He doesn't have anything of value to offer the world. If it's not about a Naruto data book, like, why the are you talking to him? Have you heard him talk about anything else in existence? Like, what the why would you ever try to have a conversation with him? What do you gain? Why do you him then? Cause I upload Naruto content, dumbass. The what do you mean? Like, what? Because I upload Naruto videos.
So he essentially said that he only interacted with someone because he wanted to use them for Naruto videos, and then went behind their back and said that there's no reason to ever talk to them because all they do is listen to Naruto and they have no value outside of that. Which is crazy that we're talking about the type of people that have value. If there is anyone that has value, certainly isn't the person that goes around trying to get stuff from minors. But another large YouTuber, Moist Critical or Charlie MC, you guys know him. He is absolutely huge. He does commentary videos regularly as well. Started watching this stuff on the stream, the 2.5 hour video, started looking at this. And you might be wondering, how is Seth responding to this all? Has he made an apology? Has he tried to make amends for what he's done? Has he tried to come clear? Well, no, he made this tweet on his alt account. It seems Moist Critical couldn't handle my spirit pressure. Bro is talking like a literal anime character. He thinks he's the main villain of like a minor filler arc. He also retweeted some really disgusting stuff, and someone asked him, are you going to address this stuff? And he said, yeah, of course, just trying to find a way how to go about it. It's such a complicated situation. I'm always happy to hear two sides of a story. Kind of seems pretty complicated because the fact that this video is almost 3 hours long, this video is 46 minutes long, like, it's a lot to go over, but it seems pretty straightforward so far. But I'm always open to maybe all of this is wrong. Maybe he'll debunk all of it, and he's not actually a bad person, and the video that was in the tweet before is actually not his voice, it's actually a deep fake, and that everything is wrong, and he's actually the good guy. We'll see. It is pretty ridiculous, but having all this come out and then just like tweeting like an anime villain does not give you the best look. look. Kind of shows that you don't really care about the accusations and that you think that you're untouchable, which is crazy because your sub count is plummeting and everyone in the comment section of his latest video is just absolutely clowning on him. It's clowning on him insanely, comparing him to EDP, who is also a groomer. And the moral of the story is do not message 16-year-olds to send them your nudes. I think that is a pretty good moral. Also, don't be a complete and utter asshole to people that are helping you grow and your friends. Just don't do that. It's pretty easy to remember, I think.